This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Welcome to Victoria Memorial. This magnificent building made with white marble from Rajasthan was built in the memory of Queen Victoria, who died at the age of 94 in 1901. It was then the Viceroy of India, Lord Curzon, who proposed that a structure be made in her memory, and he proposed that this structure should stand amidst a huge garden with a museum housing artifacts which relate to the British rule in India. Lord Curzon's suggestion for a suitable memorial to the Queen was placed before the public. The Viceroy's appeal for funds drew generous response from the princes and people of India. The entire construction of the monument cost 1 crore 5 lakh rupees and was met from these voluntary subscriptions. The design and plan of the building was done by Sir William Emerson, President of the British Institute of Architects. Emerson's earlier work include the famous Crawford Markets in Mumbai in 1865. Now based in England and approaching 60, he appointed Vincent J. Esch, a generation younger than him, to supervise the work. The work of construction was entrusted to Messrs. Martin & Co. of Calcutta. In 1906, the Prince of Wales, later King George V, laid its foundation stone. This very familiar site of Kolkata is situated on 64 acres of land, with a building covering 338 feet by 228 feet. It is 184 feet high up to the base of the figure of victory, which is another 16 feet high. This black bronze angel, known as Victory, holding a bugle in her hand, is placed at the apex of the dome. She weighs 3 tons and is fixed to a pedestal with ball bearings to rotate when the wind speed is high enough. Italian craftsmen sculpted this statue, as also the Varus Statue that adorn the large garden of the monument. Hundreds of visitors come to spend their day here to admire the building and enjoy its beautiful gardens. Vendors, guides and buggy rides sets a visit to the memorial apart from any other visit to historic sites in the city. Although a little bumpy, the buggy ride is fun and a good vantage to get to see the Victoria Memorial splendid in the afternoon sun. The memorial consists of numerous hybrid features like the Italian-style statues, Mughal domes, use of marble like the Taj, and tall, elegant open colonnades along its sides. The building is a classic example of colonial style of architecture which combines the European and the Indo-Islamic style. But the similarity with the Taj goes beyond the details. From the beginning, even before the style was finalized, Curzon insisted that the memorial should be built of white marble. In the event, the stone was brought from the same quarries in Makrana, Rajasthan that supplied Shah Jahan. The great dome, clustered with 4 subsidiary octagonal dome chhatris, the high portals, the terrace and the domed corner towers all bear resemblance to the Taj. There is even some similarity in its functions. Like Shah Jahan, Curzon conceived the building as a memorial to an empress and as a powerful visual statement. This memorial is the largest repository in India for a visual history of Kolkata. It also has a major collection of paintings and sculptures and manuscripts from the British period. A less desired similarity with the Taj Mahal was the length of time it took to build. Building operations on the memorial, conceived in 1901, got off to a slow start and had not even begun properly by the time Lord Curzon left India in 1905. It was subjected to further delay, with Curzon's successors less enthusiastic for this inherited scheme and the lengthy tests made on its foundations. Events of time also affected Curzon's stamp of the empire, leaving it high and dry in a provincial city even before it was completed. Following laying of the foundation stone in 1906 as Prince of Wales, in January of 1912, he later visited the work in progress as King George V. In the preceding month, in December of 1911, the royal visitor had been crowned as emperor in Delhi, and in his speech on that occasion he had announced the transfer of the capital to Delhi. Curzon had not foreseen this move, and it is said that he much lamented it. The work continued, but it was not until December 1921 that another Prince of Wales, who later became Duke of Windsor, came formally to inaugurate it. Some people say the strange combination of classical European architecture and Mughal influence was an unhappy attempt on the part of the British to build a better Taj Mahal. But this building, if you look at it closely, is still beautiful and unique. So if you want it to be included in the list of the 7 wonders of India, go ahead and vote for the Victoria Memorial.
Calcutta reigned as the capital of the British Empire in India during the 18th and 19th centuries. Within 200 years, Calcutta, a sleepy hamlet along the Gangetic course, was transformed into a bustling metropolis, surpassing the grandeur of Victorian cities such as Manchester, Leeds or Birmingham. Dalhousie Square was the main epicenter of power and trade during the British colonial rule in India. It was the pivot for operations of the financial, political and social world of the Indian Empire until the capital was shifted to Delhi in 1911. The square, which is in the heart of the city, is about 2 square kilometers in total area and named in the honor of James, Marquess of Dalhousie, Governor General of India from 1847 to 1856. After independence, the square was renamed Binoy Badal Dinesh or BDD Bagh after 3 freedom fighters who stormed the bastion of British rule and spelled havoc. The square includes a large central water body or Lal Dighi and is one of India's few remaining colonial centers retaining buildings which illustrate the significant stages in the evolution of the city of Calcutta from 1965 to independence in 1947. Among these is the Writers' Buildings, designed by Thomas Lyon. It was constructed in 1766 for the residence of the writers of junior civil servants of the East India Company, from where this building derives its name. It acquired the status of the seat of the British government after the Bengal Secretariat moved into the building in 1880 and serves as much the same purpose as the administrative office of the West Bengal Secretariat today. Dalhousie Square is where British dreams were given their most extravagant expression. British architects filled the city with neoclassical buildings, riverside promenades, manicured parks, office buildings and apartments, all constructed along the lines of European models, many of the public buildings being outright copies. The Government House is a duplicate of Kedleston Hall, the stately home in Derbyshire of Lord Curzon. The palace-like structure is crowned by a majestic dome and is the only building in Calcutta where no addition or alterations have been made to the building. It was built between 1799 and 1803 by the then Governor-General Marquess of Wellesley. This former residence of the Governor-General of India is now the official residence of the Governor of West Bengal. Similarly, the Gothic-style Calcutta High Court, the oldest High Court in the country, is modelled after the State House in Belgium. It was built in 1872, but the marshy foundations did not allow the towers to be as tall as the original. The architect Walter B. Granville also designed the General Post Office in 1864. This building, imposing for its raised dome, is located on the site of the old fort of Calcutta.
While the British mastered wealth and power, one area they had no control over was battling the diseases here in this subcontinent. Many of them succumbed early to life to malaria, diarrhea and so on. In fact, in addition to the General Post Office, this building was constructed to house those letters which were written and meant for the living but arrived well after they died. Today, the India Post uses the same building to sort out undelivered letters in the city.
The square has suffered decades of neglect, with many historic buildings demolished over the years. It is plagued by an urban issue of parking for vehicles and space for vendors and food courts which occupy pavements. Different bodies such as the local chapter of the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage and Action Research in Conservation of Heritage have been working towards revitalizing the Dalhousie Square. Their efforts have met with response from the World Monuments Fund, who have listed it amongst the 100 globally endangered sites in 2005.
So whether it's the Maharaja of Darbhanga, the Dead Man's Post Office or the Raj Bhavan behind me, the trail you take around Dalhousie Square is intrinsically linked with the history of the country. And if you want the significant heritage zone of the nation to be included in the list of the 7 wonders of India, give your vote for Dalhousie Square.